We are live. We are live. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. It is super early, way earlier than our regular time. And this is when we're doing this today. Our little one woke up at 3 in the morning and we all just got up because what else can you do? And he actually never went back to sleep until 7 p.m. And as soon as he fell asleep, I said, "This is it." If you are tuning in live right now, I'm so grateful that you're here because we normally meet at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but the little one woke up at 3 a.m. and we all woke up with him. And as soon as he fell asleep at 7 p.m., I said, "I'm doing this right now. Let's do this." So I'm not even ready, y'all. I'm not even ready. I haven't finished my journaling, but let's get to it. So, welcome to Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace. We meet weekly to discuss the astrology of the week, and more importantly, I like to discuss where the moon is every day. It changes from zodiac sign to zodiac sign every 2 to 3 days. And so every time it is in a new zodiac sign, the vibe changes, your emotional needs may change, the energy around may change. And so by now it's in Capricorn, but we started the day with the moon in Sagittarius. And if you're wondering, we're following Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace 2024 manifestation agenda / journal. You can find it on Amazon. And here in this journal, you have an opportunity to journal every moon day and then to do new moon and full moon practices, journal promptings, affirmations, and then you're encouraged, but absolutely do not have to paint over what you journaled. This is a personal practice that I wanted to share with the community. So here it is. You can just journal and not paint over it. You can also not paint at all and just put collages, images, photos. That would be super cute. In fact, I just got inspired to do at least one or two with photos. That would be so nice. So, how are you feeling? We had, I feel like, a long week following the full moon in Virgo, the cold moon on February 24th. And right after that, the the moon in Scorpio scraping the bottom of the barrel and bringing up a lot of emotional wounds. And off the chart, not off the chart, let me not say off the chart because we're talking about astrology. So I don't want you to think that it's like outside of a natal chart or outside of the zodiac chart in general. But um, out of the moon, aside from the moon, Chiron, which is the wounded healer. I say it in parentheses, in quotations, because this is like the rap that it has, right? Or the name that it's been given, so on and so forth. We're not going to get into an astrology lesson. But the point of Chiron is where you feel like you hurt, that's also where you heal. Because when you tend to your wound, what happens? You heal. And so Scorpio, I think, brought up a lot for everyone last week, including myself. I've had my moments of raw emotion where I have to detach and look at my environment and say, am I really crying over something that's happening right now? Or am I in my head? Right. And so the full moon illuminated a lot for me in terms of my environment and what I had going on in my studio and how I wanted to change it. So there was a sense of urgency there to mitigate the emotional fire that was lit with the disappointment of the situation, and mitigated by tending to the issue and then reaping the reward of seeing the result. And it just, I think, the moon in Sagittarius during the weekend absolutely helped me with that fire element to continue to propel me toward finishing my project on the day that I wanted to finish, which was Sunday. So I gave myself a week to just change a corner in the studio. Isn't that crazy? But there's a lot of moving pieces, and that's usually how it is. There's a lot of moving pieces to everything we're doing, manifesting, dreaming about, going through. It's not, nothing is as simple as get over it, and nothing is as simple as be done, right? There's a lot that goes into all of it. And so, with the moon's help, we get to do all of it. So we started March. We are right on track for the spring equinox on the 20th. And I'm so excited because that's the astrological new year. And let's see, the 20th is going to be Wednesday. So we're going to see each other on the 25th for that full moon eclipse. And that should be fun because we're going to be discussing the eclipse. And if you don't follow me in social media, let me just remind a little bit of housekeeping. I'm doing a 25-part series. So essentially, it's a countdown to the eclipse on how to prepare for this eclipse. It's in the south and north node. Obviously, the eclipses all happen in the nodes. So Aries and Libra are going to be the highlighted themes for this eclipse series, right? And so every day, one more way that you can prepare. They're usually just things for you to think about or meditate on or journal about. Hello, Adam. Welcome and thank you for joining at an impromptu / much needed time because we are all spent. So we're starting with the waning crescent. How has the previous week been with the waning shadow work, pondering what is coming up, what the moon brought up for you, and how to best tend to our emotional needs? That's all that the moon is about, right? And like I said, we spent actually most of the day today with the moon void of course. And as a reminder, void of course moons are meant for you to be more with yourself rather than thinking, where is the moon at and what does that mean for me? It's more of, I'm on my own and how does that sit with me? And the reason why I say that is because the moon being void of course means that it's not really partnered with any sign. And so there's no context to what the moon is doing. It's just freewheeling, right? And so if you think about the moon freewheeling, then what does that mean for you? You're freewheeling too, right? And sometimes a void of course moon will last an hour, 20 minutes, a very close time. And other times it's 7 hours, 8 hours, 22 hours like we had last week. And the thing about void of course is that it's not meant to be a time, a period or a window of time where you really start something if it's a long-term thing. Like, don't start a project. Or for those of us that are homeschoolers, I try my best to keep up with the void of course moon so that I know when not to start a brand new lesson. If it's a whole day of a void of course moon, then we're just going to review. I'm not going to put all of this energy into starting a lesson because it will probably not stick at all. And I know that I'm saying probably, and so I'm making assumptions, blah, blah, blah. But you know what I mean. Don't start things, right? You might hear astrologers say don't make major purchases, so like a car or a house or a piece of jewelry or something, expensive. Don't actually commit to a relationship because it just might not last. And you may believe that or not. The only way to test the theory would be to do those things during a void of course moon to then see what happens. And so I wouldn't recommend it. Let's just take my own testimony of when we do things when the astrology says not to. So last year, one of the kids wanted to buy a car, but Mercury was retrograde. When Mercury is retrograde, you're also not recommended to do major purchases. And I said this, I communicated this. I said, Mercury retrograde ends on this date. Can we wait until then? No. Well, let's just say there was a car accident literally like a few days after the car was purchased, and just drama with the vehicle in general. And I'm not saying I told you so, and I'm also not saying that one thing happened because I said it, and I'm not saying that it manifested because I said it would. I'm just saying Mercury was retrograde, and now we'll never know what would have happened if we would have waited. What we know is that what I said would happen did happen. So I hope that made sense, because I don't think it made that much sense to me. But anyway, I digress. The moon, after its void of course, is now in Capricorn by now. And we're going to have this Capricorn moon starting the week with it. I think it might offer, what's the word? Direction. Because Capricorn likes the structure. Capricorn likes to be aware of everything. It's not going to skip a step. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the boundary keeper. Saturn is the teacher. Saturn is also the father energy manifester. If it's masculine energy, then it has to do with money. Whereas Venus, even though Venus governs finances as well, Venus being feminine, it's more about receiving. So I hope that makes sense. But the point is that coming out of a weekend with the moon in Sagittarius and the fire and what we were able to accomplish this past weekend, to now start the week with the moon in Capricorn, I hope that what it's going to allow us to do is to really set the tone for what our next purpose is. And I say next purpose because I think we have kind of drilled, is that the word in past tense? Drilled deep into what purpose is, and how do I find my purpose, and how do I develop it, and what do I do once I get there, and what do I do with my purpose, and what is purpose, right? But if we are continuously growing, if it is true that we are continuously changing, improving, expanding, right? All of these mutable terms, they're not static, they're not like always the same, they're not set in stone, right? We are moldable, we are adaptable, right? So if we are continuously changing, then doesn't then that imply that so does our purpose, so do our opinions, so do our beliefs, right? 100%. And for people like me who like to divide the year or the life into manageable chunks and manifest little by little and feeling my way through my life, because I have a lot of variables at play, like a child, right? And his needs. And so for somebody like me, I look at a week like this one with what's happening with Mercury. Mercury is like the protagonist this week, so I'm going to brush on the surface with this, and then we're going to move on with the moon. But Mercury is the planet of communication, the planet of your beliefs, the planet of your ideas, the planet that governs your inside rumination, the planet that governs your negative self-talk and your affirmations and whatever you communicate. It governs this right now, right here, right? It's being challenged this week in a way that we might not be clear on some things. You might find yourself come Thursday, where the moon is going to be in Aquarius, so Aquarius is seeking innovation. It's seeking for you to use your creativity to get out of whatever funk you find yourself in this Thursday. Aquarius wants you to get moving. It's an air sign ruled by Mercury, I think. Let's just not say that right now since I'm so tired. But still, if we target, and hopefully the moon in Capricorn will assist us in that, that's my hope. If we target what our current purpose is, then when Thursday comes around or Friday comes around, the end of the week is where it's going to get tricky. My hope is that then we can anchor ourselves on what we have already decided. Sometimes we need a reminder, right? If you scroll through social media, you might see me or other people posting reminder this. Reminder, you're beautiful. Reminder, you're so worthy. Reminder, the only way to live your best life is to do your best work. I don't know. I just came up with that one. But we all need reminders, right? And I've been in situations where I've been told things along the lines of, I know you already know this, and I know that you don't need to hear this, but you're doing a great job. Like somebody saying that to me. And I get it that I'm a coach and I appear a certain specific way to the camera, but I definitely do want and appreciate 100% to hear that I'm doing a good job, because I mean, nobody's really telling me other than my coach, and that's her job, right? I mean, my job is to do the work so that she then, pats me on the back and says, "Yay, you did it!" The same way that I cheer you all on, right? Anyway, um, if we really target what is it that we want. Now, here's the thing. We are leading up to the spring equinox, the astrological new year. So you're going to hear me ringing the bell and wishing you all a happy new year, because here comes yet another opportunity for you to jumpstart. And not just that, but the beginning of Aries season is that fire starting. Right now, the curtain is closed. Pisces season is all about what happens behind the scenes. This is why it's so emotionally triggering. Pisces season is really about what is it that is under the surface in the depth of the ocean that will then make the ripples and the waves up on the surface, right? In the light of the sun. And here comes Aries season to really start the show. It is that big bulb of light in the center of the theater. And who's on stage but you? So, if you have been feeling since January because of the winter seasonal depression, well, we all know what that's about, right? Then this is the opportunity to have that thought of, my year starts now. What are my resolutions, in quotations, because that term is just cringy at this point? What are my plans? What are my goals? If you don't like any of those words, how about, what do you hope to accomplish this year? And hope is a very good kind of question to kind of get your feet wet a little bit, in terms of, you can either hope really big or you can keep it close to your heart and small and humble. But when it comes to hoping and dreaming, you can go all out, right? So if you're one of those people, and I've encountered these people, so this is why I say it. If you're one of those people who kind of cringes at the word goals or plan, or I don't know, even manifestation. If you cringe or you feel a certain animosity towards those three terms, goals, plans, and manifestation, then how about answering the question for yourself, what do I hope to do this year? And then you can answer it by saying, I would love to do this, or this sounds really good, or doing this would be super cool. I would love if I found the time and the energy and the resources to put all that together. And, you know, it really depends on you and how deeply you feel about these things that you want to answer that question with. whether or not you're going to put in the work or let it go because, I don't know, it's just a silly dream or you're just over it even though you said it. I feel like when a coach asks you that kind of question and you answer it, it's because it's deeper than you're giving yourself credit to. So it's always worth it to examine what comes up. I love that question, right? What's coming up? So we have the moon in Aquarius Thursday and Friday, and by Saturday and Sunday, we have the moon in Pisces, and that's where we're going to have a beautiful new moon. Now, this is not a new moon episode. We're going to discuss all about this new moon next Monday, but it is in Pisces. And let me just talk really briefly about why. Thank you so much for coming, Peter. I'm so grateful that you're here, even though it's early. Thank you for that, really. Um, let's I just want to give you one detail about why I think Pisces season has been so triggering and so tricky this year, and it's going to happen until next year. So I think we need to just buckle up and kind of flow with it instead of against it. But it's the fact that Saturn is in Pisces and it's going to stay there for a bit. And the thing about Saturn in a mutable water sign like Pisces is that Pisces is boundless. And Saturn is all about boundaries and structure. And Pisces wants to flow and dream and be emotional and be creative. And Saturn is stern and wants you to focus and wants you to prioritize and wants you to really grow up, if you will. And so you mix these two things together and it doesn't really sound that appealing, does it? It sounds like, this entity that just wants to express itself and be free and be creative and colorful and animated. And over here is the police saying, no, it's not allowed. You shouldn't be doing that, or you should be doing this instead, right? And so I think this is why. I have notes on the previous Pisces season last year. We were on season 2 of Moon Magic Mindfulness with Grace, and we can tune back on those episodes because they're all available. And Pisces season last year was a little bit more creative than this year, interestingly enough. And so all of that to say, we're almost at the end. We have 16 more days to go, so a little bit over a fortnight, and we will be over the hurdle of Pisces season. Now, for the rest of the year, Saturn will remain in Pisces, but it will just flow differently along with all the other transits. So that's it. That's the week. Let's go ahead and talk about the affirmation for the week. It's all about this moon in Sagittarius that was on the map this morning. By now, it's in Capricorn. And honestly, I need to take notes. And you can tell me in the chat what you think of this. In my book, the second edition of Moon Magic and Mindfulness with Grace, it says that the moon is in Sagittarius because when I'm doing this work, that's where the moon was this morning, right? So I think to myself, well, that's where the moon is that day. And then I think of the affirmation that goes with that moon. But by the time you and I meet at night, the moon may be somewhere else and the affirmation could be something different. Am I overthinking it? Or should I try putting the affirmation that goes with the moon, that goes with the time that you and I meet? Or should I just let it go and go with the flow because who knows the difference, right? I know the difference, so that's why I bring it up. But what do you think? What would you do? Obviously, this book is already done, and I'm not going to go back and, have a reprint, but let's see what the affirmation for Sagittarius moon is. It's always optimistic. Sagittarius is fiery, optimistic. It's like I'm cute and I know it. It's a step above Leo, I feel like. Like Leo is a bit more immature in the way that it seeks attention, and Sagittarius is more confident and more embodied, integrated confidence. So, what do you think about that? Let me know if that resonates. Affirmation of the week. I trust. Trust is the theme with this Saturn in Pisces during Pisces season. I have it really big on that window over there, and it keeps coming up. It came up last week twice with my clients. So it is, of course, thank you so much, Peter. Trust is the theme this season. So I trust in the power of my intuition and the magic of new beginnings. We are leading to that new moon next Sunday. And so here we are. Let's already reap the benefits of the magic of new beginnings because we're leading up to the spring equinox as well. I am open to the lessons of the past. There's that Pisces energy, knowing that they guide me, those lessons, there's Saturn. Knowing that they guide me toward a brighter, more spiritually aligned future. Now, of course, by today, a week before the new moon, we're still doing shadow work. We are still figuring out what the lessons from the last full moon may be. In all honesty, we're still figuring out what the lessons from 3 or 4 or even 8 moons ago were, because it all comes in a drip, honestly. And I sometimes wonder, when I get cynical about the way things work and the way things flow, when I get, kind of irked by the way things are sometimes, I quickly reframe it back to gratitude and perspective. But I do have my moments because I'm human and because I'm also affected by all of the astrology, right? And when I get those moments, I realize that it is these lessons that allow me to not make the same mistakes. They propel me to just grow in whatever direction I choose, because I'm not going to find myself in the same corner, or dealing with the same problems. And it's when you keep track of your progress, that's when you really see how much work you do and how far you have come. And this is what I love about coaching. And let me tell you, my coach tried to get rid of me months ago. She kind of implied that we had already discussed all of the things that she had to teach me and that I was doing great with my life and that we didn't have to see each other anymore. And I said, excuse me, do you have clients that have been with you for decades? And she said, yes. And I said, okay, well, then I will see you next week. And it's been like 6 months since that conversation, and we haven't ran out of lessons to discuss, because it's like nonstop, especially with a little one, honestly, because he changes so quick. And I need to keep up with his growth, and it is a lot. So that's it, everybody. Let me just give you the affirmations for, oh yes, your quote for the month of March from the book. If I may say so myself, I quoted myself from last year's book. Find motivation in the moon's constancy, which is interesting because it's not constant at all. It's always changing. But the reason why I said that is because you can count on the fact that it's changing, and you can also anticipate where it's changing, right? Knowing that every setback is a stepping stone to success. And interestingly enough, I spoke about success on my TikTok today. And then affirmation for today, again, before I go into this meditation: I trust in the power of my intuition and the magic of new beginnings. I am open to the lessons of the past because I know that they guide me toward a brighter, more spiritually aligned future. How does that sound? I feel like these affirmations just get better and better. And I practice them, every day once we launch the week. I hope that you do too. But even if you just think about the affirmations today and you never think about them again, they're still good, right? I hope so. All right, so let's relax and go into this meditation. Music for this meditation is brought to you by Brain FM. You can find a link for a free trial and a discounted membership in the link in the bio. And we're going to go to meditate. There you go. Unguided, because I will guide you. Again, thank you so much for tuning in at a special time. I'm so grateful for your questions and your engagement, and so thankful for you and for your support. If you're able, please relax, lay down, and just lean into the stillness of this moment as I guide you. Focus on your normal, steady, slow breathing. And with me, take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep breath in through your nose. Fill your lungs. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out. Exhale through your mouth. Long, extended breath. Hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe in again through your nose. Deep breath in, hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale nice and slow. And as you relax into this exhale, imagine a starry sky and a waning moon just past the last quarter. And ponder the gratitude of being right here, right now. Ponder the gratitude for every single one of all the blessings you can count. And sit in the stillness of knowing I am abundant. I am secure. I am infinitely blessed. I am so grateful. With me, take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep breath in, fill your lungs through your nose all the way. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale through your mouth. Long extended breath out all the way. Hold it at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe in again. One more time. Through your nose, nice and still. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale through your mouth. And as you relax into this exhale, remember this affirmation. I trust in the power of my intuition and the magic of lessons learned and new beginnings. I am safe. I am loved. I am protected. And with me, take a quick last breath in through your nose. Fill your lungs all the way. Deep, deep, deep breath. Hold it at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale nice and slow. Relax into this exhale. Just no hurries. Exhale until you have no air. And settle into that exhale. And slowly bring your awareness back into your body. Slowly moving your toes and your legs. Opening your eyes. And come back to me. Short little episode for us this week. Again, I'm so grateful if you tuned in live. Thank you for accommodating our family. The little one woke up at 3 a.m. I managed to have him in bed until like 4:15, but he was wide awake, and so was I. And so by 4:15, we all decided to get up. And he never took a nap, which was interesting. So as soon as he fell asleep at 7 p.m., I said, let's do this, and then let's go to bed. So that's the plan. I love you all so much. Thank you so much, Peter. And thank you, Adam, for joining me from work. And my sister is here. I love you, Nani. And I will see you all next Moon Day. And of course, don't forget to tune in on TikTok and Instagram at TikTok, somecoaching.tt, and Instagram at songofmyself.tt for the 25 parts on what to do to get ready for eclipse season. We have the lunar eclipse on March 25th. So far, we have discussed diplomacy, equality, fairness, these types of themes. Today's thing that you can do, right? Part 5 of what you can do to get ready for the eclipse was to bring your awareness into your conversations so that you can evaluate where you stand in the scale between tactfulness and assertiveness. Not every conversation is the same, right? So I'm very excited. We will have plenty to talk about. I love you all, and I will see you next Moon Day. Have a good night.